one hot topic is obviously the property franchise group and Fine and Country. And I thought, Ben, who better to ask than you as to, one, were you privy to it? And two, did you see it coming if you weren't privy to it?
So I wasn't officially privy to it. There was speculation. Yeah. Nurture Group, which owned Fine and Country and the Guild, also has a tech side to the business, so it's relationship businesses and then it's tech side. And there was talk that Nurture wanted to really be a tech business, so it might be something that's happening. And then it became a pretty poorly kept secret, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, Adam.
Adam, you don't, there's lots of things you don't know about. I've seen you on podcasts, but I didn't know about them. Who are they?
I guess, you know, like if you're in the Fine and Country world or maybe even in the Guild world, it's more important to you. So, you know, these things, you know, you've asked me this question because, you know, I'm part of that network. So that information maybe finds its way back to a few people. But actually, for the vast majority of the network, it was a complete shock. Didn't see it coming, weren't expecting it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot being said as well about the price. Mm-hmm. I think what a lot of people don't realise, obviously, it's a licensee model and a subscription model.
Yeah.
So the £15 million price tag, which I believe is what was bandied about. Certainly, there's a lot of people on social media talking about that and saying, why is it so cheap?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, from the experts who know how to value companies that do this in this way. 15 million now, 5 million in a year's time. It's a license model, 12-month notice period. It's not a franchise agreement where you're in it for 5 years. Yeah. So there's a bit of risk, I think, on the part of the purchaser. And so that's gonna affect pricing and strategy. But I think most important to the purchaser was, I mean, the coverage they have across the country, 1,900 operators.
Yeah. Where does that put them now in terms of?
Like versus your likes of Countrywide, Connells, I'm not entirely sure. I know they are 1,900 locations, which is significant.
Well, yeah, they acquired Hunters, what, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, Belvoir earlier this year.
Recently.
Yeah, big business. Some really good businesses in that model. All franchises though, so this is the first licensed business they've purchased.
Do you think they'll change that?
How
are they going to change that model from being licensing to franchising?
I think they'll put it on the table at some point in the future, yeah. I think it will. So I met with Gareth at our international conference last week. He attended, which, you know, immediately following the announcement of the sale, the purchase, and asked some questions. And for now, everything as is, business as usual. Yeah. But of course, what do you expect? That's exactly what, you know, licensees need to be told. But I guess the opportunity is they're experts in the world of franchising. If you want to look at becoming maybe a Fine and Country franchisee that might be on the table in the future, that might create opportunities for you to leverage the scale of the business to get better relationships with suppliers. That as a licensee, you don't get a lot of that. We're our own independent businesses. All our supplier relationships are our own at the moment. Yeah. So yeah, it might be on the table.
How do you think Fine and Country licensees or guild agents would feel about becoming a franchisee?
So I'm not a member of the guild, so I'm not sure how they're. I mean, I think they're just, you know, rolling membership. But from a Fine and Country perspective, I think like most things in life, you'll get people highly opinionated. There'll be a load that are wary of that. As I understand it, a franchise puts more restrictions on you. A license gives you a little bit more room to manoeuvre, and so people like that. But I think, like me, I'm indifferent. Let's see what happens. Let's see what's put on the table. You know, people paying too much, people not paying enough. Very opinionated about things that don't really matter. Yeah. You know, chill out. If it is on the table in a year, we'll see.
So you don't think it's a landmark sort of stake in the ground for the Fine and Country?
I think it's a massive positive. Yeah. Sorry to just. We are now a selection of 200 estate agents in the UK owned by a business that's got huge amounts of experience in helping franchisees, business owners in the estate agency world do well. Nurture Group we're moving towards tech, and so sort of different direction of travel. So I think this is a really great move where the leadership team is staying exactly as it is, which is positive. I think it's a massive positive. Gareth was asked, and this was the best 30 seconds of the international conference for me. He was asked, is this purchase a big deal? Because, you know, of course, ego kicks in, right? We're finding country.
Yeah.
We're a big deal, right? Is this a
Yeah.
big deal, this purchase? And he said in this really matter-of-fact, honest, authentic way, it's important, it's a good deal. Is it a really big deal for us? No, we're a big business now. And I thought, that's so refreshing, isn't it? He's just told the truth.
Yeah.
Loads of people, that's
Sort of
so
playing to
important.
the crowd.
But
Yeah.
And I thought, that's great leadership. So if that's the top of the, top of hierarchy, communicating like that, then we're in bed with good people.